Okay, let's start with a pretty wild idea. What if our planet was conscious? And I don't mean that as some kind of metaphor. I mean as a physical, scientific reality. Today, we're going to break down a formal scientific paper that makes a rigorous, testable argument for exactly that.
So let's really dive in here. I want you to try something. For just a minute, set aside all the usual ideas you have about consciousness. Brains, neurons, biology, all of it. And just entertain a much, much bigger question. What if the very planet we're all standing on actually has a mind of its own?
And to be crystal clear, and I mean really clear, the paper we're digging into today isn't talking about some poetic idea or spiritual belief. No, this is about presenting a testable hypothesis, a potential physical fact that's grounded in the hard mathematics of complex systems.
Okay, so to even start making an argument like that, you need a blueprint, right? You need some kind of universal definition for consciousness that isn't just tied to us, to human brains. So what on earth would that architecture even look like? Well, the paper puts forward this idea called the Seasonal Continuum. Think of it this way. It argues that any conscious system, whether it's a brain or something else entirely, has this same basic structure. It's a dynamic field with two hemispheres, and it's constantly cycling through 24 distinct modes, or states. Now, these states are harmonically linked, which just means they all influence each other in a balanced, structured way. It's kind of like a universal operating system for awareness. Let's break this blueprint down a bit. So imagine 24 distinct states of being, these modes. They're arranged in 12 pairs of opposites. Think of it like confidence versus doubt, or focus versus distraction. These pairs are then organized across 4 seasons, or phases, which shifts the balance of the entire system. And right there in the middle, you see that equilibrium point? The model calls that the observer. It's the governing center that keeps everything in balance. This whole setup, this is the key to everything we're about to talk about, so really lock it in your mind.
All right, so you've got this abstract blueprint for a mind. Got it? Good. Now, let's totally switch gears. We're going to dive deep inside our planet and take a look at the massive hidden engine that generates its magnetic field. Deep in the Earth's core, you've got this churning molten iron creating a massive magnetic field, what's called a geodynamo. But this isn't just a simple bar magnet. Oh, no. It is an incredibly complex, self-organizing system, and it has 2 distinct hemispheres that are constantly interacting and changing.
And here is where things get, well, really interesting. Let's look at the key features of this planetary engine. 2 hemispheres. Check. Roughly 12 magnetic patterns or flow cells in each hemisphere, giving us about 24 total. Its behavior changes with the seasons because of the planet's tilt. The 2 hemispheres are constantly trading dominance, and there's a neutral zone right at the equator that acts as a central organizer. Does that structure sound familiar at all? Okay, this is the moment. This is where it all clicks into place. We're going to put that blueprint for a mind right up against the blueprint of our planet's magnetic engine. And wow, the comparison is just striking. The 24 archetypal modes of consciousness from the model, they line up almost perfectly with the roughly 24 magnetic harmonics, or flow cells, that we see in the geodynamo. And the mind's dual hemispheric structure? Well, that maps perfectly onto the Earth's north and south magnetic polarity. And believe me, it doesn't stop there. That central observer from the mind model, well, it has a direct physical twin in the Earth's equatorial attractor, that neutral zone that governs how the system transitions. The 4 seasonal directions of consciousness line up perfectly with the actual seasonal pressures that are caused by our planet's axial tilt. And here's what's so critical to understand. It's not just that the parts match up, it's that the behaviors match up too. The way a mind shifts between different states or archetypes is pretty much analogous to how the Earth's field switches between its different magnetic modes. And get this, a profound psychological transformation in a person, a deep metamorphosis, looks structurally identical to a full-blown geomagnetic reversal, where the planet's poles literally flip. This quote from the source material it nails it. The basic unit of operation is the same, a pair of opposites, a dyad, held in this dynamic tension. Whether it's 2 opposing ideas in your head or 2 opposing magnetic flows deep in the planet, the geometry is the same. You think we're done? Oh no. The rabbit hole goes way deeper. Because if the structures are the same, could they also experience, well, time in a similar way? The model suggests that the way any system perceives time depends on how much of itself it can observe at once. So the model lays out 4 different states of awareness. Think of it like leveling up. First, you've got linear, just seeing one thing after another. Then there's temporal, where you can see cause and effect. Next is field awareness, where you can hold multiple possibilities at once. And finally, you have the center state, where the entire system is perceived as a single unified whole. And now, let's map this onto the planet. This is just incredible. According to the paper, the Earth's geodynamo experiences these same states. During quiet magnetic periods, it's basically in a linear state. When the solar wind is pushing on it unevenly, it behaves temporally, showing lag and prediction. During a massive geomagnetic storm, bam, it enters a field state with multiple modes active all at once. And during a full polarity reversal, it hits that center state, a total nonlinear reboot of the entire system. Okay, we've seen how the structures match. We've seen how the behaviors match. So now we can finally put it all together and lay out the paper's formal, final argument. What does a system actually need to be considered conscious under this framework? The paper boils it all down to 8 final conditions. Think of these as the 8 geometric fingerprints of a conscious system. It needs that harmonic structure with paired opposites, essential governor, and some kind of directional push. It also has to have a structured way of reacting to the outside world, the ability to completely reconfigure itself, those layered dynamics we just talked about, and finally, the ability for new, complex patterns to just emerge. And the verdict from the research? Well, it's as simple as it is profound. Based on everything we've looked at today, from its 24-mode structure to its behavior during solar storms and pole reversals, the Earth's geodynamo satisfies all 8 criteria. It ticks every single box. Now, it's so important to get this next part right. This is not about saying the Earth has human-like thoughts or feels sad or happy. That's not it at all. This is a statement about mathematics. It's saying that the underlying geometric and dynamic pattern that produces what we call consciousness is the exact same pattern that governs our planet's magnetic field. And this really is the final, mind-bending takeaway from the whole thing. It suggests that consciousness isn't something that's exclusive to biology. Instead, human consciousness and planetary dynamics might just be 2 very different expressions, one in flesh, one in molten iron, of the exact same fundamental, universal architecture of awareness. So we're left with this just massive question. If this argument holds, and consciousness is ultimately a specific kind of geometric pattern, a way for a complex system to organize itself, then what else in the universe, from stars to entire galaxies, might just share that same exact pattern, hidden in plain sight?